Based on some other conversations, I will follow up last night's video with what the first week after Mark's death looked like for me. He died in Delaware. We were there together, and I lived in Pennsylvania, which was 3.5 hours away. I didn't have the capacity to drive myself home, and also I had Mark's vehicle there. So I called friends and told them Mark died and I need your help. And no one hesitated. One couple came to pick me up, drive me home, and then another couple came later to pick up Mark's car and drive it back to our house. My girlfriend Jennifer picked me up and I was silent. She asked me, did I want anything? And I was just silent. I slept on and off as she drove me home. And then when she dropped me off, she wanted to come in. And I knew that that was going to be my last moment in the house by myself for a while. And I needed to fall apart. So Jennifer, with great hesitation, dropped me off, gave me the keys to the car, and I went inside. I came into the house and I fell down and I screamed. I screamed and I screamed and I cried. And I screamed and I cried. And I just remember thinking, I love him. How is he dead? This is how our story ends. And I was just beyond broken. Family, and well, actually the first person to come was my brother. And he came from California. And he was there for 2 weeks. Family and friends came. The house was full of love and full of people and full of support. And I am extremely grateful for that. I am grateful that they allowed me to go back into the bedroom and cry, and no one came to smother me. They gave me space to cry and then come back. I will say that when my mom handed me a whiskey sour, I knew that it was rough times. It was devastating. Mark wanted to be cremated, so that was done. I remember so many people in the house and feeling like it was a big party for Mark, but he wasn't there to celebrate it. And I was excited, all the plans that were being made for him and what it looked like. One thing that I did that I am grateful that I had the courage to do, I went back into his closet in one of my crying moments, and I opened his closet and I was smelling his clothes. And it felt like it was an eternity standing there smelling his clothing. And I said, Tina, we can't do this. I cannot. And there were some people in the house that actually wore the same size clothing that Mark did. One was his brother. So I called him. Well, first of all, I removed all the clothing I knew I couldn't part with. And then I called them into the room and said, with some trash bags, and say, take whatever you want. And then I brought in another couple and they did the same. And what was left was very minimum. Mark and I wear the same size shoes and socks, so I kept all of those items. I know it may sound like, what? You start giving away clothing? It felt right for me. There were people there in the house and it worked. And I am grateful for that. His funeral, my sisters came, and there are 4 of us. 2 slept on blow-up mattresses on the floor in my bedroom, and 1 slept in the bed with me. And I would wake up every day and say, Mark is dead, because I needed my mind to wrap around the reality of it. There were so many people at his funeral, people I had never met. Mark was in the military, in a military intelligence unit, and the kids and I would joke, people we didn't meet or know before, that we would say that they were spies. Those were people coming to check in on their dad. One of the things that was so hard was standing there by his casket while people came to greet. I did not want to do that, but the children did, and so I honored their request. The other thing, when we were leaving the house to go to the funeral home to make plans, up until that moment, I knew their dad died, but it was only my husband that died. And when we were leaving the house, Alexander asked if he could have a watch that belonged to his dad. And I said, Tina, their dad has died also. And I started to realize that. And so I let them be part of every decision that was made for their dad's funeral, flowers. One of them took charge of what the spray looked like. One of the, Catherine or Alex, took what their dad's urn would look like. And I remember leaving and going to the funeral home and just grabbing the keys, and my brother realizing how dysfunctional I was. And he said, I will drive. And I was like, but I can. He said, but you're not. And it started to dawn on me how emotionally distracted I was. The other thing was going to the insurance company and submitting his death certificate and watching them click on the screen that I was a widow and hearing that word for the first time. Those are some of the things from that first week. Feel free to ask me any questions and I will do my best to respond. This evening, based on previous conversations, I will share what those first few months look like after Mark's death. Talk to you later. Bye.